Right, well, the Marklet, as we all know, is in a whole world of trouble. And everything that all the Mexican community and all the people have been positing for many a year now. I mean, not me, I just stand on the sidelines and take the piss. But seems to be that they're onto something. Well, it transpires that most of the women in the world actually know a wrong one when they see one. And it's been confirmed. So this is still happening, and it's Dr. Sophie Chanduka, and I can say her name at last. I've learnt it, I kept saying it, Chanduka. Prince Harry is under the spell of a narcissistic Meghan. He's not under the bloody spell of nobody, he's full of hooey, that's what he is, weak. I don't think, well, is he weak? I'm not really prepared to put up with that. Did you hear me the other day when I gave an example in my life, and if you think you've probably all met somebody like it, where you see this couple and one's the goodie and one's the baddie, and that's the way to the outside world it looks. And then when one or the other of them disappear, or brown bread, do you get me? Yeah. You find out that actually the so-called victim is a fucking arsehole, you know, a real twat, you know. They were probably as bad as each other in many ways. And this is the same with Harry. Why is he being let off? He's the one that wrote a nasty, muggy little email to Dr. Sanduka, telling her that, oh, he's just spiteful. We're going to hear about it anyway.
Markle, formerly known, of course, as Meghan Markle, now known as Meghan Sussex, as she keeps telling us. Nadine Dorries is here. She's got a column in the Mail today saying, I believe there is only one excuse left for Harry's behaviour, and here's what it says about Meghan. She's, of course, former Culture Secretary, author. Nadine, very good morning to you. Nice to see you.
Oh, Nadine.
Good morning, Mike. Nice to see you too.
So,
hello,
I
Nadine.
mean, you claim that you're going to continue with your armchair psychologist hat on, so it's a very interesting piece you've written. I mean, we're all armchair psychologists in a way, aren't we? I mean, but you've got a bit of an insight here. Tell us what you think.
Well, it was a comment that a friend who's a psychologist made to me months ago about the relationship between Harry and Meghan.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it was a group conversation we were having, and actually, to be honest, someone was saying, oh, he's completely in her thrall, it must be sex.
Yeah.
Da-da. And this friend who's a psychologist came in and said, actually, I think he's a flying monkey. And I kind of got interested in that theory because I'd never heard of it before.
Right.
And I think we all know them.
And Well, the dynamic between them is what happened at the beginning. She absolutely love-bombed him, and he was just... I think he'd watched his brother get married, and he wanted a bit of the limelight, blah-de-bleeding-blah. He never thought anybody would marry him. I mean, who would they? Who would? And, she's obviously lied about her age and lied about, like, loads of stuff, and managed to cover a lot of it up, probably using the security services, probably to save Harry, and de facto the royal family as well. So, and I think the damage was done in the early days where he offloaded. She probably auto-suggested a lot of stuff to him as well, because she is older than him and she is smarter than him. Whatever we might think of her, she's been around the block half a dozen times, probably more times than me and you lot. Do you get me? Because I've never moved in the circle she survived in, so sort of predates, doesn't she? And so she love-bombed the living granny out of him, and she knows all the goods. She knows that's why she, every now and again, she'll drop the, shall I write a book? She posited it, doesn't she? Oh, I wonder how, if I got divorced, how much I'd get from my book. It comes up every now and again. And being around these type of people, that's how they work. So she's got all the goods. She knows where the skeletons are buried. She knows all the things to bring up, that would absolutely not so much ruin Harry, but ruin the royal family. Yeah, because obviously she'd make a lot up. She'd dress it up like she did with the, oh, it's racist in the royal family asked about my child and all this BS, right? And that is what she's got ultimately over him. And I think they do, Harry sort of quavers between probably wishing he'd never met her and then just wanted to appease her for an easy life. So that is the dynamic I think has been set up here. As I say, what she doesn't know, she'll make up, or she can take one kernel of truth and make it and blow it out of all proportion. And I think also she probably has got some juicy gossip. You know, if you think even in an everyday family, when you meet a member and you go out with a member of somebody's family, you find out all the stuff don't you? You know, you meet the family and there's granny and there's granddad and then there's auntie and uncle and this and that and the other. And over a period of time of dating whoever it is you're with, you find out all the back gossip about them, don't you? They did this and that, as well as the good stuff. But she's not interested in good stuff. She'll know all the dirt. And she's probably laid a lot on him in their salad days, in their early love bombing time together. Where she auto-suggested stuff. So scenarios that he had in his head that played out one way, she probably deconstructed them and then presented them to him in another way that has now become part of his back narrative, and in no way reality. But anyway, it's there. And I think that's what keeps him on that hamster treadmill. He goes anywhere between just trying to get through every day by pacing on the treadmill to trying desperately to run away from the treadmill, only to be pulled back every time. That is what's going on. And got no sympathy. He is as bad as her. He chose her and she chose him. They deserve each other. That is why I've got no sympathy for either of them.
Comes from the Wizard of Oz, who put a spell over the flying.
I used to be terrified of the flying monkeys in the Wizard of Oz when I was a little
kid.
I was frightened.
Well, they tend to be quite vulnerable and needy people who have problems of their own, actually. They're easy people, easy prey for others who are narcissists to kind of put a spell.
Yeah, well, no, yes and no. But I mean, you know, people put a spell on you. I don't believe that. We're adults. You choose. You choose to be where you are. And if you don't like where you are as an adult, you can choose not to be there. So, vulnerable and needy people aren't nearly everybody vulnerable in some ways and needy in some ways and not needy in others. So, and in a relationship, isn't that supposed to be a simpatico thing where you yin and yang it? So, don't. I think actually Harry and Meghan do yin and yang. Oh, completely. They are so yin and yang together. They fit each other like that last piece of the jigsaw puzzle. Do you get me? You know, when you finish the jigsaw, you got that one piece left. You put it in, boom. You got the whole picture. That is Harry and Meghan. And the way he's behaved towards Sophie Chanduka was on the ask of his wife, because she didn't like the backlash she got about the photograph where she pushed her out the way. And she set the Sussex squad on Sophie. And Sophie's got the goods. And I'm here for it. And I totally support Sophie. And it transpires that everything most people have had that perception and that insight is true. And the thing is, this is only what we know. There's been so many other people that have been shut down, like the bullying inquiry at Buckingham Palace, the Invictus, where the people were leaving Invictus, the sponsors were leaving, and I think some of the directors left. Their own Archwell Foundation that can never keep staff, their own house staff. Again, we've heard the rumours of how many staff they've had, a massive turnover, a consistent turnover of staff. Better Up, again, turnover of staff. African Parks, again, the similar thing going on. Wasn't there something about Travelist as well, where he was involved with Travelist, and that was a bit tits up as well? But it's like they go around firefighting, so something will spring up and then they'll throw a bucket of water over it and move on to the next thing, and something will spring up again. And I don't think this time they're going to get away with it. They need to have their titles rescinded and taken away to start with. I think the reason he hasn't poked the hornet's nest is because, again, Charles is aware of the love bombing and probably the inside information that Marklet's got. Yeah. She could probably go nuclear. She could. And anyway, it's like I've already said, she'd go nuclear and then build it up into the biggest hydrogen bomb you've ever seen in your whole bleeding life. That's what she'd do. And try and blow them out of the water. But they need to be more confident and realise that most people aren't going to buy it. It doesn't matter what Charles has done. Didn't he write that Charles used to do headstands in his underpants or something when he was a kid? That's sort of giving away something about, essentially, who was the Prince of Wales at the time and is now the King, that probably shouldn't have been out in the public domain. If you can max that scenario up to about 100, that's probably the goods that what the Marklets gleaned out of him. Pillow talk and all the love bombing.
Over to captivate. And what they do is they enable, they excuse, They explain the behaviour of narcissists, and actually the professional
Yeah,
advice...
but no, they do it. What's her name? Nadine? Yeah, Nadine. They do it, Nadine, for an easy life, because they're there and the dynamic is such, they're in their lane. I've seen this, I've grew up around this type of vibe, yeah? And they just do it for an easy life. And probably he's got a completely separate life somewhere else that she knows nothing about, even though she thinks he's her damn squib and he's there whenever she calls him, beck and call. I think he's probably got a secret sort of life going on somewhere else. That's usually what you find with people like that. And he just tries to keep her happy to get through the day, basically. Will he leave her? No, I think she'll leave him. That's what I think.
To how to deal with a flying monkey. If you know someone in your life who is a narcissist, you know they're a narcissist.
Yeah.
But you have someone else who's constantly trying to excuse and enable their behaviour, then the professional advice...
I mean, she's this psychopath that goes around putting bronzer on her, doesn't she? So she can look more of an ethnicity that gets her all the points that she wants to be the perpetual victim. And then you get actual ladies of that ethnicity that she's bullying the living daylights out of, and then stands on a stage saying about how she empowers women and this, that and the other, raises women up. Oh, empower them, bloody bleeding blah, organic. She's full of it. She's full of hooey. And I think she's bitten off more than she can chew. And I think we should all get behind Dr. Sophie and give her the support she deserves. And also, the Sussex squad, they need to be outed for the toxic and sort of domestic terrorists they are. I think they are. Yes, they are. And also, who pays for the Sussex squad? I think we're looking at her, darlings. I think we're looking at her.
Disengage with both the flying monkey and the narcissist.
Right.
And I think that's what's slowly happening.
I mean, if you think of it, the Sussex squad are sort of a modern day version of stormtroopers, because they just work for one boss, don't they, really? And whatever they're told to say or told to do, they will carry it out to the T. Max it up to factor 10, won't they? You know, because they are that invested in their little whatever it is they do, and they totally believe, or do they just do it for the money? I don't know. Or are they indignant? Do they really believe that this is a thing and she's being picked on by the royal family? They're both full of hooey. Anyway, I've had enough. I expect you've had enough. I think I've spoken too much anyway. I bored myself wretched. Oh, Lady C's uploaded, so I'm going to go and watch that. Anyway, have a great evening, guys. Love you.